Hello, and welcome to the Porcelain Dawn channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Ship of Fools by Richard Paul Russo. Hello! Today's review is Ship of Fools by Richard Paul Russo. This is a book, a sci-fi book that was recommended to me by a friend. He told me a little bit about it, just enough to wet the whistle, but not really that much in terms of story or plot or characters or anything like that. Just a brief overview in one or two words that really sort of intrigued me. So when I picked it up, I didn't know what to expect other than it was sci-fi and that it takes place on a ship deep into the future. It's a ship that's been traveling through space without really knowing where it came from. They know they're humans, so they presume they came from Earth, but due to events that happened on the ship, they have the link with the past is cut, so they don't really know what their original mission was. They don't know where they were supposed to be going, or why, or how long even. And that's the premise, and then it takes place with there's certain exterior events, but the most of it is about the dynamic in the ship between these different factions. The downsiders, as they call them, which are sort of the working class, the grunts, and then you have the upper class, and then you have the religious part of the ship, Christianity in this case. And I really enjoyed this book, much more than I expected I would. Not that I didn't expect to enjoy it, it's just this book was incredible. It was so well written. The characters were interesting and engaging. The plot was interesting and engaging. The atmosphere that it created was just so ripe, Like, it's a short book, it's a short read. I'm going to try not to go into any spoilers here, but it was just very rich. It played a lot on the meaning of life, the macro and the micro. In the macro, in the sense of what am I doing here? What's my purpose? But also in the macro level, like humanity, what is our purpose? Because when you're on your home planet, it's one thing, the propagation of the race or whatever, the human race. But then when you're on this ship and you become an interstellar civilization, but you're cut off from your roots, then what is your purpose? And then if you're not connected to your roots, you have this sort of existential ennui, like why in general, just why are we here? What do we do? Why do I exist? Why is everything sort of feels pointless, or does it? Do people think on a macro level ever, or is it just a bone feeling? There's lots of questions that aren't implicitly asked, but are there on the page in the themes to be read and to be mused upon. And it was just very rich, very well done. Like I said, it's a slow burn. There's not much action, barely any, but there's just atmosphere and slight events and discovery and tension, and the interpersonal relationships are very well written. There's a great economy of writing. Like, I really love economy of writing, where you say a lot with a little. Not that I don't love books that are very deep and rich and with lots of prose and text. I love those too. But I do appreciate when authors have the capacity to say a lot with a little. And this is a great example of that, because there's certain parts, like for example, there's a person who works in the church called Father Veronica. Now, obviously, that's sort of a juxtaposition, because Father male, Veronica female. She's a priest. I'm not going to go too much into it, but she's a priest. But then it just tells you a lot about the church, tells you a lot about human race, tells you a lot about where this ship is, and how the church has progressed in the future on this ship. Just the fact that it tells you a lot about the absurdity taken to the nth degree. Now, obviously I have no problem with ladies being priests, but if that needs to be said, but just Father Veronica, it just, the absurdity of it rang through and told me so much about everything, just in 2 words. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it just told me everything that later became true, you saw to be true. And I just thought little things like that, little, I call it economy of writing, where just little touches go a long way to give the reader a lot of clues. And this book is replete with it. There's lots of it. As I said, the characters are interesting. Father Veronica is a great character. There's a bishop in it that was an interesting character. The ship captain, interesting character. The main character, Bartolomeo. I found it really interesting because he was born handicapped in a physical way, and this led to him getting an upbringing and in a certain way, and having sort of a mechanical prosthesis. And they don't focus on his disability, but the way, and they don't focus on how people treat him because of his disability either. But the author does, you see how he was treated through the way he interacts and feels about the people now, in a very subtle way. This whole book is very subtly written, and you can go through it on a surface level and just have an interesting time, but there's so many deeper nuances and richness to it. And like I said, it's a short book, but there's a lot packed in. And if you really like sci-fi or thrillers or historical fiction in the future, because it's somewhat realist, it's science fiction, but the science doesn't come into it so much, and it's just fiction in the future on a ship. But it's almost, there's philosophical aspects on the interpersonal nature. I recommend this to almost anybody, except if you're not really a heavy reader, or you really like stuff that's more bombastic or action packed or humorous, then this probably isn't for you. But most readers, regular readers, I think, will enjoy this, and I would recommend it to anyone that likes sci-fi. Definitely. It's really, really a good book. I was really pleased with it. I'm looking forward to checking out whatever else the author has done. If you've read this book, let me know what you think. If you've read anything else by the author especially, please let me know down below which ones I should check out, because I really want to do that. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more reviews, and thank you for stopping by. Bye-bye.